Let's check in with Turning Point's White House correspondent Monica Paige at the White House. Monica, some blistering, just crazy things coming out of the Department of War, like, hey, we should be ready for war. I maybe I'm missing that, but I don't know why that's seems to be controversial with the libs. We talked about it quite a bit. What Hegseth said, kind of the main message that he was trying to push. Obviously, Trump came up there and kind of reiterated that message of being ready. What's it like in the White House right now? What are the kind of the staffers saying? What are the other media outlets saying about the speeches this morning at the Quantico over there with the president and the entire Department of War?
Yeah, well, the White House, they're very enthusiastic. They're very much behind this message. It feels good
Mm.
to have maybe, a military defense department, war department that's actually excited to do their jobs, that's excited to protect our country and protect us Americans. Because the last year, 4 years, we've had a Department of Defense and a Secretary of Defense who decided to leave his post and do some kind of surgery and didn't tell anybody. We had uh, a lot of woke mindset ideology instilled in our military. So the White House is very excited to get back to work when it comes to our defense, when it comes to our military members and our generals, and really just like reinstill American patriotism, reinstill warrior ethos, because this message that we heard today just doubled down on the president's message of peace through strength. Now, however, on the other end, you have the media here at the White House that may not be too happy about some of the rhetoric this morning, maybe trying to, they say that this White House is trying to instill some fear in the American people about going to war, and we need to be ready to go to war. And of course, they're going to take that and run with it and say, oh, this United States military are bloodthirsty, or and that's just not the case at all. You need to escalate to de-escalate, and that's exactly what we've seen consistent with this White House. And peace through strength has also been a consistent message. But of course, like you just can't trust these reporters on the ground here, because they'll just immediately take it personal. They'll immediately try to think of the worst possible case scenario and just run with it. But everyone in the White House, they're cool, calm, collected. They are ready to do what needs to be done to protect our country, because finally we have a president that actually cares about us and our safety.
Yeah, I guess I don't quite understand the reaction to it other than like, yeah, we should be ready to go to war with countries that are
Yeah.
willing to go to war with us. The idea of like, oh, you're gonna scare the American people that they don't want war. Yeah, no, nobody wants war, but it's a necessary component to being the global dominant superpower. I can't quite understand that. In other news, Pfizer, there's some big news in the medical community. Tell us what President Trump is doing about Pfizer, which I recognize several people watching this show are probably not stoked with that company, and that's putting it lightly. But what's going on that front?
Well, essentially, the president is completely reinventing the pharmaceutical industry, because Pfizer just announced that it's investing about 70 billion, that's billion
Mm.
with a B, dollars to completely reshore pharmaceutical manufacturing right here in the United States in efforts to lower these crazy drug costs for Americans who need their medication, who need their drugs here in the United States. Some of them are very reliant on these pharmaceuticals, and the fact that this announcement today is coming during this time, during the Make America Healthy Again movement, is perfect timing. It's definitely what Americans need. And this could slice drug costs by maybe, 100 to 300%. I mean, some of these other countries were kind of paying pennies compared to what we are paying here in America.
Mm.
And on top of that, the president also announced a new government website called Trump RX, which I think is fantastic. It essentially allows consumers to get their medications through this specific website without having to go through a middleman like you probably previously had to do. So the president is trying to make this more accessible, make it a lot easier, and make it faster for Americans to just get the medications that they need without having to pay exorbitant amounts of money.
My favorite thing on this has been seeing in the span of a week the libs going, we need to guzzle as much Tylenol as possible because President Trump says no, and now they're gonna be like, medication is terrible because President Trump is
Yeah.
trying to make it cheaper. I love that. I think the president jerking around all the libs is hilarious. Monica, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
I also like the self-branding on a lot of things, which
Oh
I think is
yeah,
absolutely hysterical. You
and yeah,
can't make it up.
and I don't really care specifically. Like, would I do that? Probably not. But also, does it really hurt anybody? Who actually cares? Just making up another controversy.
No.
um,
Joe Bob, thank you so much for having me.
appreciate you taking the time.